Hey y'all, this is Voluptuously Skinny, and I'm here with my post-op week 157 update. Still kind of reporting on my 3-year surgiversary, but I wanted to kind of give y'all a regular update too on my weekly progress. So y'all know I gave up the sugar and the chips and all that stuff this past week, and I ended up being down a total of 3.6 pounds. And some of that probably is dehydration. I think that my dehydration though is kind of resolved, because when I did my skin flick video, I was actually 147, and that was down about six pounds from last week. But last week I was 153.6. This week I'm 150.2. So what, 3.4 pounds, yeah, or something like that. So anyway, my protein went up on average 93 grams per day. Carbs way down, which I don't really like, but I'm still trying to figure out how to get in some other carbs, some more complex carbs. Got some sweet potatoes and that kind of stuff in my refrigerator, so I'm gonna start trying to eat those. But my carbs went way down from like the 300, 400 range down to like 153, and that's kind of when I first, that's like the range when I first when I was in the losing weight range, and I don't want that, so I definitely have to get that up. Let's see, my calories, my total calories were around 1,500 per day. So they were way down to, I was eating that junk accounted for a lot of calories. And y'all, I'm sorry, I don't really have this together, but so it counted for a lot of calories. And just when you eat the better stuff, and I always say this, you get way more full, so it's harder to get things in. But I feel like I am eating all day still, and that I am constantly, it reminds me of when I first started, when I was struggling to get in, not necessarily struggling to get in the water or what have you, but I wait that 30 minutes to try and get in that water. But then sometimes I get in a little water, then I'm so full that 2 hours or so will pass, and I'm looking at the calories that I've eaten, and I'm like, no, I gotta eat again, because I gotta make sure I get enough calories. So I don't think I was drinking enough water to, which is one of the reasons I think I became dehydrated. So anyway, and my net calories, ooh, it was way low. It was like 680. I was in the negative for calories on several days. I've been resting, so I haven't been running as much this week. So this week is probably not going to be as bad coming up, because like I said, when I got dehydrated, I started getting cramps, and the race director, they called IMSA, and I ended up getting an IV, and my legs are sore and my knee is sore, because when the paramedic was trying to stretch my hamstring out, my quad would cramp, and so I would jerk my leg trying to prevent my quad and my groin area from cramping. So it just really kind of jacked my knee up. So now I'm dealing with that. But anyway, that's my update for my regular update. But I wanted to talk a little bit about what I feel was a success for me as far as being able to lose, or get rid of 225 pounds. And I think one of the biggest things is, well, I'm not going to say one of the biggest things. I'm just going to tell y'all the major hitters for me. Tracking my food. When people tell me that they're falling off or that they've been in a stall for months, I always tell them, track your food. I know that it can be a hassle. I know that you don't like it, people don't like it, but you have to track your food. You have to see what you are consuming and how much you are consuming. You have to see how many carbs you're getting in. You have to see how much protein you're getting in. And you have to track every bite, especially when you're on a stall. There were times when I was tracking that I might not track like a peppermint, or I might not be diligent on, you know, just like a taste here or there. But anytime I hit a stall, I got really strict and tracked every piece of everything that I put in my mouth, because I had to see how much I was eating. So you really have to be mindful of that. So tracking, going to the nutritionist. The nutritionist helped me adjust anytime I needed to adjust what I was eating. She helped me to think of ways where I could get in more food when I needed to get in more food. She just helped me all around as I started, you know, getting into more activity. She helped me adjust. So you really need to see your nutritionist. I still see my nutritionist 3 years out, and it's so important. And then support groups. If you can find the right one, I'm gonna tell you, and it's more about, in the beginning it was more about, and I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to hear me because people are working here, but in the beginning it was more about me getting support for trying to figure out how to eat, how to maneuver and navigate this. They're putting down a cement walkway. But anyway, how to navigate this whole tool. And I think that's so cool. Oh, somebody else is a runner. I don't know if you see the back of their car. So anyway, that was the support groups. Now I go to the support groups more for kind of the volunteer to work with the pre-op patients, because when you go and you've met your goal, or you're doing, you know, really well, the pre-op patients, being able to, you know, talk to them, it kind of gives you an accountability measure. So those are things that help me. Also measuring my food. Measure. I still weigh my food. There are things, that's the 4th penny I found today. There are some things, I don't know if there's anything that I don't measure. I pretty much measure everything. I count everything. Sometimes with cereal, if I have a bowl that I know is, you know, that particular serving size bowl, then I will just use that bowl. And so I don't necessarily weigh or measure anything that way. But I pretty much measure everything. Let's see, what else? I am active. I found an activity that I love, and that's running. But I also have an alternate activities. You know, like right now I can't run as much, so I'm walking, I'm riding my bike, and then I try to do some yoga and stretching. So you definitely have to find that alternative that's going to keep you moving when you can't do that one activity that's your jam. So it's so much, but those are things that nutritionists, tracking, support groups, and then I have to say this, follow up with your surgeon as far as blood work is concerned, or your primary care physician. I know a lot of people don't necessarily have, well, I'm not gonna say a lot of people, but from my own personal experience, I lost the insurance that I had. So initially I went back to my surgeon, but I was paying out of pocket, and it just didn't make any sense when I had insurance and a primary care physician that could run the blood work. However, the thing about the primary care physician that you have to make sure about is that you need a primary care physician that is going to work with you and your bariatric needs. Because I had one primary care physician, when I gave her the list of blood work, and actually he was a field, but I had a primary care physician who would tell me, oh, you don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need this blood work, you don't need that particular test. And it's not really for them to, that's not their specialty. So if your surgeon gives you a blood workup, or your nutritionist, or whoever it is that's based on what your bariatric needs are, fight for that and advocate for that, or find a primary care physician who will understand that and do that for you. I know several people have talked about them, they went to Mexico to get their surgery, and they worked with their primary care physician before they even left. And so I definitely would suggest that, because it's so much cheaper in Mexico, honestly. And if I didn't have so many issues with surgery, honestly, I would go. But I just have issues. When I had my bariatric surgery, I ended up staying in the hospital for 3 days because I had issues and fever. And so I would definitely suggest do what's best for you, and then definitely advocate for your own health care, because that's our prerogative. We have a right to do that. So I'm trying to think of anything else. Good morning. It's really nice out today. It's not too humid. It's just nice time for a nice, wonderful walk. So, I think also, I know a lot of people don't want to tell. Sometimes people don't want to tell anybody, or they want to keep it secret, and that's perfectly fine. But just make sure you have somebody that's there that can support in some way. Even if you can't tell family and certain friends or what have you, you're gonna need some support in the beginning, because it is hard. And especially if you have any emotional issues that took you to food anyway, which I did. I was a binge eater. Oh my gosh, I was a binge eater. And I do go to therapy too. So definitely get that support, get what you need to help you cope with that and find new coping mechanisms, because otherwise you will go right back to, good morning, you'll go right back to what you were doing before you had surgery. Because I'm gonna tell you, you can eat around any one of these surgeries. None of these surgeries are foolproof. And don't think that one surgery is better than the other surgery, or that you know, like some people say, oh, you don't have dumping because you had the sleeve. No, that's not true. Yeah, there are things that everybody's an individual, everybody's unique, everybody deals with this and reacts differently. Last night, or yesterday, I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I tolerated it just fine. So that evening, yesterday evening, I wanted to get in some more calories, and so I ate another peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It did not set with me very well, and I usually can eat a whole sandwich now, and it just did not sit with me. So I mean, it set with me, but I could tell my stomach was a little upset. So it's just different things happen at different times. They react differently. So just be mindful. Don't mold your journey off of somebody else's, or to look like someone else's. I often get asked, what are you eating? Or can you tell me how to get back on track. And the best thing I always tell them is you got to find out. I don't know what your lifestyle is. I don't know where your what your work schedule is, your activity level. So it would be hard for me to tell you exactly what to eat. I can tell you what I eat, but I'm gonna tell you what I eat. If some of people ate what I ate in a day, especially when I'm eating 2,500 to 3,000 calories, you're not gonna lose weight and you're never gonna get back on track. Especially if you're not doing any activity or anything to the level of what I'm doing it. So I always tell you track. That's how you get back on track, is to track. So anyway, and I don't want to say that, I don't know if I sound like I don't want to sound like uppity or nothing like that, for sure. Because I see people talk about, especially the newbies and the pre-op and the newly post-op patients, they say that sometimes a lot of the individuals who have lost a lot of weight, they don't really respond and don't want to give help to anybody. And that's by no means what I am about. I want to help as much as possible. But as far as giving you specifics, I can give you ideas, but you definitely have to mold them to fit your lifestyle. And some people like to food prep or meal prep. I don't like to meal prep because I like to change it up. But what I do, it's a form of meal prep. And so I'll buy like tuna and yogurt and just different convenience things that I can grab on the go or put together for a meal. So that's the way I meal prep. But as far as cooking something and putting it in all these little packages, and I've tried that before, and I don't like to do it. I'm kind of lazy, I guess. But I admire those who do it, because I'll look at some of the food they prep and I'm telling you, my mouth waters. So, but you just have to find what works for you. Find what works for you. I don't even know if this was very helpful or not, you guys. I hope it is. So, just as a recap, what I found to be successful, and I'm down 225 pounds, is to track my food, measure and weigh my food, to see a nutritionist, to get in a support group. Oh, the other thing I did was I did weigh daily. I weighed daily. I'm a daily weigher. And I'm still a daily weigher. And that's one of the things that I read years ago from I think it was the National Weight Loss Commission or something. I can't remember exactly what it was called. But they talked about people who were successful in keeping weight off long term. And that was one of the things that they said, was that the majority of them are daily weighters. And some people don't like to, because that scale, it consumes them. But it's a unit of measure, and it's a way to be able to tell if you're on track or not. It just is what it is. And some people may not like it. Some people say they use their clothes. And I've said this time and time again, I can't use my clothes because most of my clothes are fitting anyway. They like fit. Or if they don't fit, most of my dressy or kind of more dressy clothes, they fit. My casual clothes and my gym stuff, or not my gym stuff, but running stuff, it is loose. And I wear that most of the time. So if I judge by that, I could gain probably 5 or 10 pounds and not even realize it. It's like this shirt right here. And then tights. You know, tights, you always can, tights are forgiving. So you just have to be careful of that. I did talk about last week some pants being kind of snug on my thighs. But when I went back and looked at pictures and looked at the last time I wore them, they were the same. They're the same. They fit the same. So it was really no difference. I just hadn't worn them in a long time. And so when I tried on some other pants and stuff, they fit fine. And they were a couple of those pair. I have some pants that I always say when I'm at my lowest weights, when I'm at my small weight, like the low, well, I'm already in the low 50s, but like if I go down below 150, I grab those pants and put them on, because then I can fit them comfortably. But yeah, that's that. I don't want to keep y'all too much longer because I'm kind of just rambling, but I may have to do this video over. We'll see. All right, peace out, babies. Mwah.